Hey, welcome back to another walkthrough. This week we are going to look at Accss. Accss is an interesting application. It is a database program that's used to store information or store data. That way you can retrieve meaningful information from that data. To get started, we're going to find our Accss Chapter 17 Greater Project. We'll go ahead and click on that. We'll download our materials. We have several files to download. Download the instructions, download the student file, your file, and we'll download these two different Excel files here. Don't use the download all files button. Once again, it downloads a zip file, which makes it a little bit more difficult to do the assignment, save it, and submit it. All right, let's get started. We'll click on our student file here. Now here's a little bit of a problem for Mac users. For Mac users, there is no Access program for a Mac. So unfortunately, this particular Greater project will need to be done on a Windows PC that has Access. If you have trouble finding a computer with Access, you're more than welcome to schedule some time with me. We can find some time this week or early next week to sit down and do the assignment. I can provide a computer that has Access. All right, let's get started. We want to enable our content, and let's go ahead and open up our inventory table. Before we do that though, I'm going to just go ahead and take a look at the application. And we have a tabbed interface up here at the top. Home, create, external data, a lot fewer than what we've had in the past. And then over here we have our items, whether it's a table or whether we create a query. If for some reason you do not see this sidebar, there is this double arrow right here, and you can click on that, which will close your navigation pane, and then you can click on it again to open up your navigation pane. So first we're going to do is we're going to open up our table. So here is our inventory table. We'll double click on it and open it up. And notice that it is very Excel-like. You do have a whole bunch of different columns, and you have rows. So your columns in this view are your categories. We have an ID category here, and that's it. We're going to create our table here in just a bit. And then each row is a record within that table. And it'll kind of make a little bit more sense as we get started. So the very first thing we need to do, so where it says click to add, we're going to go ahead and click to add. So you can do different data types within these columns, and it's always good to know exactly what data type you're going to use. In this particular case, we want to use short text. Short text is for numbers and letters, and will allow you to put in up to, I think, 255 characters. So we'll click on short text, and now field 1 shows up. Just start typing, and we're going to type in item. All right, once you've typed in item, we're going to click to add, and we're going to add the category item. We're going to do short text, and let's type in category. Once you've typed in category, we're going to click to add again. This time we are going to insert our campus field, which is short text. So we'll select short text, type in campus. And we're going to add our storage location, which is going to be short text again. So click to add, short text, and we'll type in storage location. Click to add. This time it's going to be our price category. So we want to do currency and type in price. And last, we're going to click to add. We're going to do the number, and we're going to type in quantity in stock. So there, we have now typed in all of our different categories. Lastly, we want to change our ID category to item ID. So let's right click on ID and hit rename field. Type in item ID. And we also want to change it to the short text field. So we'll come up here to our table tools, click on field. right here, notice how our number formatting, our auto number is grayed out. That's because we're still editing. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And now it'll allow me to change it to from auto number under formatting under our fields table to short text. And we are done with steps number 1, 2, and 3. So let's go ahead and save our table. So hit the save button up here. And now we want to start adding in records. Now, when you add in a record, it is automatically there. There is no saving it. Once you type in a record, once you delete a record, it is gone. Or you have put it in, it is there. So you do not have to save the table. The only time you have to save the table after you've done something to it is when you change the formatting of the table. You add a new column, a new data type. That's the only time that you would actually save your table. So let's go ahead and let's type in our information. And the same rules are going to apply for typing in Excel. You're going to try to use the tab key as much as possible. So for the 3 records, we want to do capital C-1 is the item number. Then hit the tab key, which takes us over to item. So we'll type in chocolate bar. And hit tab, it'll type in candy for the category. Hit tab, and it's going to be southeast. Make sure you spell everything correctly. Make sure you use the right punctuation and capitalization. Hit the tab key. Storage location is going to be SE100A. Hit the tab key. The price is 89 cents, so 0.89. Hit the tab key, and the quantity is 250. And notice if you hit the tab key again, it takes us down to the next record. So we can now just continue typing. C-2, tab, lollipop. Hit tab, candy. And tab key again, southeast. Tab key, SE100A. The tab key again, it's going to be 0.5 for 50 cents. Hit tab, and we have 500. Tab key again takes us down to the next record. We'll do T-1. Hit the tab key, and we'll type in t-shirt. Hit the tab key, and it's going to be clothing. Hit the tab key, southeast. Tab key, and this one is going to be SE100B. Tab key 17.5. Tab key 100. And we are done. We have typed in all of our records. Now we are going to move to step 5, where we want to add or append records to our table. To do that, you need to make sure that you did not open up your Excel files that we downloaded. If you downloaded the Excel files from our materials and you opened them, make sure you close the Excel files, because it will not work. You cannot append data if you have them open. So to do this, we are going to close out of our table. So if you notice, there is a little X right here. Go ahead and click on that X. It will close out of our table. And now we want to append records to this table. So make sure the table is highlighted. Don't open it. Just make sure it's highlighted. And we're going to go to our external data. And from our external data, we are going to come to New Source. And we are going to select From File. And we are going to select an Excel file. So I'll click on Excel file. It's going to bring us to Get External Data. We want to come down here and we want to append a copy of the records to the table, meaning it's going to add the records to this table. And now we need to come up here to Browse, and we want to find which file it is that we want to append. And that is going to be under our Downloads folder. So let's go to our Downloads folder. And the file that we want to use is the inventory. Not inventory storage, but inventory. The AIO A17 greater H1 inventory. Go ahead and click on that file, hit open. Once again, just make sure it says append. and hit OK. And it'll give us a chance to look at our data. This is the data that's going to be appended to our table. We'll hit Next. And we're going to import it into the inventory table and hit Finish. And no, we do not want to save the import steps. Go ahead and hit Close. And now when we double click and open up our inventory table, we now have all of our files or all of our records appended. So the 3 that we typed and then all the other ones that just appended. So now we want to switch to Design View. To do that, we're going to go to the Home tab, and under the Home tab, we have our View category. We're going to click on View, and we're going to click on Design View. Now what Design View is it is the design view of our table, meaning we can change the way our table looks, the type of categories that we have, their data types, their field sizes, and any other requirements that we have for inputting data into this table. In this particular case, we want to delete the campus field. So when we delete this campus field, all of the data that is in the campus field will be deleted as well. And we won't be able to get it back unless you've made a backup copy of your table. But that's okay, we want to get rid of it. So let's hover over this gray area right next to campus. Get that arrow pointing to the right. Click on it once, then right click on it and hit Delete Rows. And it'll ask if you want to permanently delete the field and all of its data, and hit Yes. And now campus is gone. And now for a category field, we want to enter a description. So let's find our category, and let's go to description, and let's type in our description, which is enter the category of the item. Enter the category of the item. And we want to change the field size. So we're going to come down to our properties group here, and our field size is 255. We want to change that to just 25. And what that means is you can only type in 25 characters into this field. You can't type in 200 or a whole bunch of different data into this field. We can only do 25 characters. Now it also wants us to change the item ID field, change the field size to 10. So we'll come up here to our item ID. Click on item ID. Notice our field size is 255. Let's go ahead and change that to 10. And now that we've made changes to the structure of the table, we do need to save it. So hit the Save button up here. And some data may be lost. Yes, we want to. And the reason why it says that is because we've shortened these fields, so anything over 10 characters will be deleted. So go ahead and hit Yes. So now for step number 7, we want to switch to our Datasheet View. So we'll come back up here to our views, and we'll click the View down arrow and hit Datasheet View. Then from Datasheet View here, we want to apply the best fit to all fields. So we are going to come up to this corner square right here, right where the columns and the rows meet. If you click on that square, notice how the entire table is selected. Then we will come over here to our records group under the Home tab. We'll click on More, and we'll go down to Field Width and apply Best Fit. And now we will see all of our data. And we want to save our table because we just changed the structure of it. And let's go ahead and close out of it by hitting this X right here. So now we want to import more records into the table, but this time we're going to create a new table. We're going to go to our external data. From our external data, we're going to go to New Data Source, from File, and we're going to do a Excel file again. This time, we are going to create a new table. So right here it says import the source data into a new table. So make sure that has the dot. And let's click Browse to go to our file, which is under our Downloads folder. And this time it is our inventory storage file. So we'll click on that. We'll hit Open. Make sure Import source data into new table. Hit OK. Notice how the first row does contain column headings. So we want to put a check mark there and hit Next. And it looks like everything else here is good. Go ahead and hit next. We want to choose our own primary key, so we'll put a dot next to choosing our own primary key. And we want to make sure the category field is the primary key, which there it is. There's our primary key. And go ahead and hit next. We're going to name this table inventory storage. We'll just keep it the way it is. Go ahead and hit finish and close. And now notice we have our own inventory table. We have a new table. Let's go ahead and open that up. We'll double click on it. And notice we have 5 different categories in this, or 5 different records in this particular table. For step number 9, we want to switch to Design View. So I'm going to come up here to our Home tab. From our Home tab, under our View, click on View and Design View. So for location data field, so where it says location data, let's put a description in here. And that description is going to be room and bin number, or alternate location of inventory item. Room and bin number, or alternate location of item number, or inventory item. And we want to change our field size to 30. So change our field size from 255 to 30. And then go ahead and save the table because we did make some changes. Because we changed our field size, it says we may lose data. Go ahead and hit yes. And let's go ahead and switch back to Datasheet View. So we'll come back up here to our Home tab. From our Home tab, we will click on View and Datasheet View. And just like the last table, it wants us to apply a best fit. So we're going to come over here to this corner square right here between category and the rows. Click once. Then come over to Records, click the More button, and Field Width, and apply best fit. And we're done with step number 10. Let's go ahead and save our table and close our table right here. So now we have 2 tables that contain data within those tables. Now what we need to do is be able to pull information from those tables. In order to pull information from tables, we need to create what's called a query. So we're going to come up here to our Create tab. And under our Create tab, we want to use a query wizard. So we're going to click on Query Wizard. And it wants us to do a simple query. So we're going to do a simple query, hit OK. So make sure our inventory table is selected. And we want to add the categories item. So we'll click on item, hit the over arrow. We want to add storage location. So double click on storage location. And we want to add quantity in stock. So let's go ahead and double click on quantity in stock. And notice how they all move over here to our selected fields. Make sure we have item, storage location, and quantity in stock in the right order. If they're not in the right order, hit this arrow here to move them back over here and then put them in the right order. But now that we've got them in the order, let's go ahead and hit next. We're going to keep the default, just hit next. And we're going to keep the default name. And lastly, hit finish. And it's going to open it up. So what this did is it pulled out just the information that we wanted from our inventory table. So it pulled out the item category, the storage location, and the quantity in stock, because that's all we cared about. We only wanted to see that information. So it allowed us to pull that information out of our table. So now we're done with this. Let's go ahead and save our query. And let's close out of our query right here. And on step number 12, it wants us, based on our inventory table, we want to create a form. So let's go ahead and click on our inventory table here. Once you've clicked on the inventory table, we're going to come to our Create tab, and we're going to find where it says Forms. So now what a form is it is a way to input information into our table. It is very bad practice to open up a table and put information directly into the table. The reason being is you could accidentally delete data, and anything that you accidentally delete, if you delete the entire table, if you delete all of the data off of it, what ends up happening is that data is now gone. So it is best to input information using a form. So let's go ahead and click on Form. And notice now we have a form that has all the information that we need to put into our inventory table. If for some reason you do not have these items here, most likely you had inventory storage highlighted when you created the form. You could go ahead and exit out of this and do it again. But anyway, so I have the right form here. This is what I needed. And we can go ahead and save it. And we want to give it inventory form is the name that we want to give this. Inventory form, and hit OK. And let's go ahead and close out of our inventory form. The last item that we're going to create is our inventory report. Now, a report is a way to get information out of the table in a nice printable form to share with others. To do this, we want to, once again, base it off the inventory table. So make sure inventory table is highlighted. Let's go to our Create tab. And then from here, we want to come up to our reports. And we just want to go ahead and click on Report. And it's going to create a report with all of the information in that table for us. Let's go ahead and save it. So let's hit our Save button. And let's change it to inventory form or inventory report. So let's type in inventory report. And hit OK. Now we want to delete the category and price fields. Right click on category and hit delete column. And it will delete the entire column for us. And let's do the same thing with price. Let's go ahead and come over here. Let's click on price, right click on price and hit delete column. And now we have deleted the category and price fields from our report. Let's go ahead and save it again, just for good measure. And we want to sort the item ID field by ascending order. So let's go ahead and click on our item ID. And we could come up here to our design tab. From our design tab, notice we have a grouping where it says group and sort. Let's click on group and sort. And it's going to bring this bottom area here open. We're going to add a sort. So let's click at add a sort. The selected field, we want to add the sort on the item ID. So make sure item ID is selected. And let's see here with A on top. So we want to do it and that's ascending order. So that's good. We want to set the item ID field width to 0.75. So with our ID item selected, let's go ahead and right click on our item ID and hit properties. And this is a little bit small for me. I'm going to go ahead and open this up a little bit. Notice if I hover my arrow on this border here, it gives me two arrows pointing away. I'm going to click and drag that to give me a little bit more room here so I can see everything. And it wants us to change the field to 0.75 inches. So let's find where it says field width. And right here is width. I'm going to change it to from 1.4 to 0.75 and hit enter. And notice that will change my ID field. Now we want to change the storage location field to 1.5. So let's find where it says storage location. Go ahead and click on storage location. Our properties here will change. So now let's click on our width again and change it to 1.5. And hit enter. And notice that it will now change our storage location to a little bit smaller. We are done with our report, our property sheet. So we can click this little X right here for close. We can come over here and scroll down on our main page here. We want to delete page 1 from the report. So let's click on, just click on page and hit delete key. And that'll delete our page number from our report. And we are done. So let's go ahead and hit save. And once you've hit save, let's go ahead and close our report. And let's go ahead and close our entire Access table. So we're done. We come back to our Downloading starting materials, we can exit out of this. We're going to choose our file. You have to make sure that Access is closed before you submit this file. If you try to submit it when it's open, you'll see more than one Microsoft Access file. So once I hit choose file, I'm going to navigate to my downloads folder. And here it is. This is my kiosk inventory. It's my Microsoft Access file. So it's going to click on that and hit open. And I will upload. And once it says success, I will submit for grading. I will close my assignment. And I want to see how I did. So I'm going to come back to my assignment, click on the 3 dots, and view submissions. And it looks like I got a 96%. It looks like I missed something. So once again, I will click on my submission. And I will scroll down my scorecard here, and it looks like I did something wrong on step number 6. I'll click the down arrow. And it looks like I did not set the category field to 25, and I did not enter the description properly. So I must have made a mistake there. I might have put it in the wrong spot. I might have misspelled something. It looks like under the category field, I made a mistake. So if you made that same mistake, feel free, go back into your assignment, fix that field, and then resubmit it for a better grade. Once again, if you need to contact me through Canvas, and have a wonderful day.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe to the channel, as I'll be posting new walkthroughs and tech tips each week. Check back regularly for new content, and have a wonderful day.